let's talk about hub motors then. Where do you see this particular, what's your sweet spot in terms of the market for that product you're holding right there?
Well, so we have. So let me back up.
Okay.
In terms of evolution, so 2018, what we have done is we have actually embedded sensors inside the hub.
Okay.
And that was an important part of it. So now what it allows us to do is we are able to get both the cadence information as well as torque sensor information from the rider right inside the hub.
Okay.
So that opens up a significant amount of possibilities. Now we have, so we have launched, two platforms. One is we call Falco eDrive,
Okay.
and that platform actually is limited in terms of power, but it has got ability to act as your trainer.
Okay.
And that's one aspect of it is being able to evolve the technology where you have an indoor use and you have an outdoor use.
Oh, okay. So this would be as I would set this on some kind of a trainer platform, the rear wheel. I would, in the wintertime when it's too cold to get out, I'm down there pedaling away in my basement or rec room or whatever. This is then providing me with the kind of data that I would get if I had some other more high end type of trainer then,
Right,
dedicated
right. So
trainer.
that's right. So the direct drive trainers are today the most sought after trainers in the market. And the reason they are more sought after trainers are in the market is because you are able to integrate them with the and plus ecosystem,
Okay.
right? The and
Right.
we have dreamt of this, from several years. We have dreamt of it as being able to have that kind of ecosystem, but it has not been possible for until recently.
Right. So for
So
people that aren't familiar with ANT, that is a communications protocol developed essentially for bikes and trainers and things like that. Then,
yes, so
sort
so
of the Bluetooth for training equipment.
yes, so N plus is a very low energy communication protocol which was developed by Garmin, and most of the Garmin devices have it. And now essentially the same protocol has evolved into, so you have got the hardware today is compatible with N plus and BLE, Bluetooth Low Energy.
Okay.
you know so Apple devices unfortunately are not directly compatible with ant, unless you can use BLE. So ant has upgraded the hardware or provided the abilities for their OEMs to be able to have the compatibility both with Apple as well as all the other devices.
Okay.
Right. So what it does is, about year and a half, 2 years ago, a company by the name of Zwift essentially came on, came to be introduced, and they have revolutionized the training aspect of indoor training. And Zwift is a virtual reality, where you can actually simulate being trained, doing indoor training while you are in
You mean
London.
the
You
Tour de France,
know.
virtual Tour de France?
Virtual Tour de France. Now, the interesting part is that when you do that part, you can actually, if you have something like this, now this actually complements your indoor training. So this will simulate the road for you. So when you are
Okay.
going uphill, it will give you a lot of resistance,
Okay.
right? And when
Yep.
you are going downhill, it's going to simulate going downhill.
Okay.
Now, some companies have even go beyond that. For example, there's a company called Tox, TACX, right? And they
Okay.
have got some trainers. They actually can simulate even the gravel road where this is go right. So
Right.
you can really complement the training aspect quite truthfully while you are indoors,
Okay.
and at the same time you are in this wonderful virtual reality, and you are also socially connected to a lot of other people.
Other riders, right? So you could be
Yeah.
actually racing in a virtual Tour de France then with
Yes.
other riders, and I would assume somebody's going to come up with a way to take some of the top riders and make them virtual riders like you've got with the NFL football and things like that. I would imagine.
Yes, yes, yes. So I think it's definitely a very exciting area to be part of, and then you have a whole lot more statistics about yourself. Your power you're generating, your cadence, your heart rate, etc. So it's definitely elevates the indoor spinning or indoor training to a next level.
Okay, all right,
Right. So that's
and does this then also work? I take my bike then outside and I'm going to ride now outside. Do I get that same level of detail about my performance when I'm outside?
Yes, so you're able to convert then the drive. So we call it world's first indoor outdoor e-drive.
Okay,
That's another platform is and so now you can, when you're outdoor, you basically ride it as a normal electric bike,
right.
right?
Okay,
So that's so if you think about in terms of being able to do fitness functions and being able to enjoy riding outside, you cannot do that with a mid motor. Only, and you cannot really integrate with an ecosystem like Ant Plus without a direct drive.
right.
So that's where I think we have the sweet spot is being able to have one is being able to do really this has got virtually no resistance when you're pedaling, so you can actually run these motors without any battery and feel no resistance,
Right.
and
Okay.
they are very efficient at high speed, so you can do commuting 45 kilometers per hour commuting without any hesitation. So that's whereas when you're trying to do that with the geared motor, with the mid motor, you're going to hear the noise, you're going to hear the
Right.
sound, and it's actually, spinning at 4,000 RPM, a motor which is spinning at 4,000 RPM, and you're getting it down to do that. So these are the things which mid motors cannot do.
Okay.
Now, obviously, a direct drive motor today cannot be, if you have a full suspension electric bike, all the mountain bike experts will actually laugh at you and saying, well, you cannot use, a direct drive motor. But I think they are to be proven wrong eventually, because I think that a direct drive motor can become so lightweight that it will be a great replacement to mid motors.
Right. So let's talk about. So you're getting you've focused on this one design. I gather from the fact that you've been spending a lot of time in India that you're probably working with a contractor manufacturer over there then to produce the motors.
No, we have our own facility. We
Okay.
have it's a Falco facility in India,
Okay.
and we are opening a second facility pretty soon here with 20,000 square feet manufacturing place.
Okay. Is this in
And
Pune?
no, we are going to. So we will maintain. We today we do the R&D and manufacturing in Pune,
Okay.
and then we are looking at a location close by to set up our second manufacturing place as well.
Cool. So let's talk about. So I can't, as an individual, I can't put an order in and say, send me that. Your clientele here are bike manufacturers, I gather.
Yes, so we are definitely moving away from direct sales and dealer sales, and getting into more working with manufacturers.
Okay. All right.
And I think that is the model which sort of has evolved, and we're working with a number of manufacturers to be able to have the bikes or trikes out with our system in there.
Okay. So let's talk a little, since you're spending time in India, and obviously that's one of the things I wanted to chat with you, about before we wrap things up. We got about another 5 minutes. Let's sort of give us some insight into the market there. We've had some interesting things happen. You have the government saying that they're planning on having all cars electric by 2030, which is like what, 13 years away, something like that. 20 years
Yes.
away, 18 years away, whatever it is. No, what am I saying? 12 years away. You've got most recent one is that they came out and said that we're going to ban driverless cars here because we don't want our taxi drivers and things being unemployed, right? You've got, what's it, 1.3 million people? I think you have as many people now in India as you have in China.
Yeah, 1.3 billion. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah.
1.3 billion people. And then, of course, you've got all this whole debate about how do you incentivize it, the whole tax thing. Do we give all these vehicles a tax break and so on? So, is that a serious market for you? You've got a plant there. Is that going to be a large market for this product for you? And what's sort of your feel about what can you kind of insights can you give us about the market in India from your perspective?
Well, I think, culturally, this is not a good fit for Indian market.
Okay.
Culturally, people are very status conscious in India, and they like to go from two-wheelers, motorcycles, to cars. I think electric cars have a better chance than electric bicycles.
Okay.
Electric bicycles are good in Europe because people don't have that status. They are more about the environment and their own health.
Right.
Whereas in India, it is that to be able to show to society where you have it reached, you want to show a four-wheeler. So I think electric cars is a much better option because people are willing to spend on electric cars.
Okay.
And I think we don't have electric bicycles on the other hand, or even electric scooters. I think have a very limited scope in India.
Okay, so companies like Aether that we hear about launching their electric scooters and things like that, that's going to be a small market then, you think?
Yeah, I think it's a big problem because you are dealing with serious cost economies. You are dealing with also technology which is extremely robust with internal combustion engines. Honda can give you a great two-wheeler which can last you 10 years and cost you I think $600. And the cost of running that is nothing. You can run on 1 liter of petrol, which is the cost is like $1 per liter. You can run 80 kilometers or so. So it's cost economies you cannot overcome. And
Right.
people who are using two-wheelers, are people. I mean, and driving cars is a nightmare in India today.
Oh yeah,
But
I've seen photographs of the traffic jams in places like Delhi and some of the other large sprawling cities. There, it's like bumper to bumper. I don't see how anybody even gets around. But then we have that problem here, and they have it in Europe too. So
it's a much bigger problem, and in India, it's a very serious problem because our population is economically growing, and they are economically growing, and they are commuting, and they are traveling, around the globe, and this is so it's a very serious disconnect between between a consumer base who has money to spend, but if they spend it, there's a limited use of it. So owning a car is something you aspire to, but being able to use that car is
yeah,
another thing.
yeah,
So it's a serious issue for us, I think, and it cannot be addressed, quite quickly or easily because you cannot build roads, overnight,
right.
and that requires serious amount of planning, and the number of cars which are coming online, by 2030, we expect almost 500 million cars on the road.
Yeah.
That's
Just India.
just India.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that's a serious, and we cannot. That's a, like a 10 times increase in number of cars, and there is no way you
They're
can
just going to sit there in
build.
permanent gridlock.
or I suspect that people will have cars, but it'll be more of a status symbol. Okay, I got a car. Here it is.
Right, right. I can't drive it. It's going to sit there in my wherever you park them there. I don't know. And then it's your status symbol. So, or somebody could make a business maybe out of just simply renting fake cars, right? Doesn't really work. It just sits there and looks pretty. So, hey, thank you so much for taking the time and talking to me about this. I really appreciate it, and I'm glad that you guys are continuing to make progress. I look forward to maybe getting to test one of those motors here at some
Absolutely.
point. I love the idea of being able to use them both indoors and outdoors, and being able to collect that data. I think for Quick Bike, as you know I'm working on, that might be some really valuable information to have for us at some point. So we'll
Sure.
talk about that when we get to that point.
Sounds good, Bill. Thank you so much for your time. Really appreciate it.
All right, good. Now I'm going to chat with you just briefly off record, but before we hang this up. But I'll thank you for now.
Thank you. Thank you, Bill.
Okay.